Got an email.
And Sunday's not a work day, Heather.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, we're good.
Except for people.
Okay, thank you
Just kidding.
very much, everyone. We had quite a long in-camera discussion on a number of different matters, and we've also had our lunch break, so I would like to bring the meeting back into order. And we need a resolution to first come out of camera, and then we'll continue on with our regular agenda.
Resolved that as per section 152(4) of the Municipal Act of Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting of regular meeting.
Madam Mover, Councillor Horvis, second Councillor Boulanger. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. So we are at number 7 on our agenda, and that is communication for action, and we have a couple of items there. One of them being the charity event with the RM of Lac Du Bonnet and the Eastern District Golf Tournament, which they are hoping to have at the end or close to the end of August. And I don't know if everyone's handed their sheets into Heather, but Mr. CAO, did you want to speak to that at all, or?
I think you've covered that well, Madam Mayor. It's $130 per person, and the tournament is on August 26, 2021.
Okay, and basically, I see Heather has some names in the resolution here, so I will just leave those, and I put down for myself to volunteer. I don't golf, but I do like to go sometimes to these events. And this might be kind of interesting if they do have it, because it'll be the first one in a very long time. So I did put my name down to volunteer if they need any help. So go ahead, Councillor Bazzaro,
Can you add the CAO to that?
if he would like to.
I would love to.
Like, we need a driver.
So Heather will add Deepak's name in there. And we'll just do a little refresh here, and then I'll get Deepak to read the resolution. Go ahead, Deepak.
One second, I'll just refresh mine.
Hopefully we'll be able to learn how to socialize with that.
Yeah, no kidding.
You'll probably have to be far away still.
You'd probably be close.
Resolved, Councillor Scott Spicer, Dave Horbis, and Glenn Bassaroich, and Chief Administrative Officer Deepak Josh should be authorized to attend the 2021 Eastern Municipal Golf Tournament on Thursday, August 27th at Lac Du Bonnet. Also, be it resolved, Council by way of this resolution, commit to sponsorship in the amount of.
There is a sponsorship form there, and I didn't really look at so much the sponsorship, but I wondered if we had any gifts, prizes for their, well, they don't even have a silent auction usually. They usually get, like, they would like groups of 4 for their winners of the golf tournament. So can we just provide them with some swag for their winners?
Certainly. So what we can say is also be it resolved, Council by way of this resolution, commit to some paraphernalia for the 2021 Eastern Municipal Golf Tournament for Lac Du Bonnet on Thursday, August 26, 2021.
Perfect. Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strange, Councillor Bazzaro, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the second one we have is the FCM, and we had a bit of discussion on that already. I guess as much as I would like to be somewhere else, but it looks like this is all going to be virtual, and they're still charging the same as if we were wherever, $600 per person.
That's wrong, I mean, sorry.
That's okay, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, they got no hotel costs, they got no transportation costs. Their costs are basically their speakers. I don't know how they can charge, this is a national conference? That's a lot of folks that could be on Zoom.
Well, I think what happened too is early bird registration was supposed to finish at the end of April. And I don't think they had much uptake on it because they've extended that early bird registration till the end of this week. So Sandra, Glenn, and Scott.
I would suggest that we do one registration and then everybody look at what they want to, because there are some good sessions in
Yes,
there,
yes,
but I wouldn't be interested in the whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and I just think it's very expensive and just buy one membership and whoever wants whatever session you'd like to come here to
Right.
the office.
And I think, I guess I actually did mention it to Deepak last week, and he said he would have no problem setting it up in here. So, you know, we have a big screen and everything, so, Glenn,
Perfect, that's what I was
Yeah,
Scott.
I'm good.
yeah. And I think probably, if everybody has a look at the agenda, so you know when you want to be here, like, I don't know that anybody wants to sit here from, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I know we don't do that when we go somewhere, so I don't know that you want to do it here, but
Is there a bar?
Well, I was
Not
gonna bring a
here.
camper for a week almost, so I was just in the parking lot.
well, and the other thing though, that we have to kind of be careful too, like, I mean, if, I know I'm the closest one, so I don't charge any mileage, like, I don't know how you want to work it if you're
Here's
here
the
for,
bar.
if you're one session in the afternoon, morning, and then another session in the afternoon, do you go home in between and charge the mileage for both times? Like, that's something we'll have to probably discuss a little bit, so. So I would imagine that it looks as if we're gonna have one registration, and Mr. CAO, if you could read the resolution, and we'll ask you also to set the room up once we all look at the agenda, and if you have an idea of what you want, then that's probably a good way to look at it. So go ahead, Deepak, please.
Resolved, council be authorized to attend the FCM Virtual 2021 Conference and Trade Show on May 31st to June 4th, 2021.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Strang, seconds, any discussion?
Trade show's gonna be difficult.
Madam Mayor, what we'll do is we'll set up it in the chamber, and it'll be always connected on there, and then you can come and go as you see fit.
Okay,
That
perfect.
entirely.
Okay, I have a mover, I have a seconder. If there are no other comments or questions, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next item, I think we are moving into new and other business. And I know that the CAO is very glad to report that we've sold another lot at Sunset Bay. So I'll leave that for our CAO to go through that, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We've sold another lot. This is lot 30 on Sunset Bay, leaving us with just 2 lots left, as I recall. And this one, again, is for $75,000 with the same conditions as all previous sales. There was one additional condition they had requested, but it was removed after some discussions.
Thank you for that. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Bazarowicz.
What was asking on those?
We've been asked, our minimum price is $75,000.
Yeah, but what was asking price? Or is that the
Asking
That's the
price.
asking.
That's
Yeah.
it, and non-negotiable asking price.
Well, we're willing to take higher, but we're not going any lower.
No, I thought maybe they were 70 or something like that.
There's 75 less the 15 we paid in, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
How many more lots left and what number is it?
I think 2.
2 lots left,
Lots left.
and I think they're right beside this one.
Okay.
Okay, if we could have any more questions, we could have the resolution, please.
Resolved, the offer to purchase from Darrell Driver and Nancy Driver Lowen from Lot 30, Block 1, Plan 50313, Sunset Bay, in the amount of $75,000 be accepted, and the CAO be authorized to sign offer of purchase.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland and Councillor Strang, seconds. Any more questions? Hearing and seeing, I'll call the question. Opposed? That is carried.
Did I mispronounce the name?
I don't know.
No.
No, I just
Roach had a chuckle there.
Okay.
Okay, the next one we have is our roadside mowing, and I believe that this has been previously approved.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this one, we had a time issue, and council was asked to authorize the approval through email electronically, and this is coming forward as part of the resolution for today. And so we have selected the lowest bidder in this case, which was JMS Watt Brothers.
Are they the same ones from last year?
No, they're not. This is a new company, so there may be some additional, maybe learning experience with them, but we are going with a 3-year contract this time. Last year was the test.
Who was last year?
I think it was Dennis Friesen. I'd have to verify that for you, Councilor, I can get back to you.
No, that's fine. He was 43 then on this bid.
Correct.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, I will ask for the resolution, please.
Be it resolved that council accept the recommendations of the Public Works Manager authorizing the CAO to enter into an agreement with, excuse me, JMS Watt Brothers to complete the 2021 roadside mowing as per RFQ 2021-03, being $41.66 per linear mile or $110 per hour plus applicable GST.
Moved by Councillor Spicer, second by Councillor Horvis. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So we asked for a 3-year quotation. Should that not be reflected in the resolution that we're passing?
It doesn't have to be because the quotation is specific, but we can put it in 3 years if you prefer. Because the RFP was, and the amount is exactly the same for all 3 years.
Well, I guess it's up to council, but I think I'd like to see that it's in there because I'm sure our contract has wording in it that if we're dissatisfied, we can pull out, right?
Correct.
So I think we should put it in for the 3 years. That's
Certainly.
my thought.
And I would agree with that, but if it's the same cost for all 3 years, all we need to do then probably is just add 2021/2023.
I just changed it.
Oh, okay.
I took the 2021 out and just put as a 3-year term.
Okay, I'm not getting an opportunity to reload this for some reason.
I'll read it for you, Deepak. Be it resolved that council accept the recommendation of the Public Works Manager authorizing the CEO to enter into agreement with JMS Watt Brothers to complete the roadside mowing as per RFQ, being $41.66 per linear mile or $110 per hour, plus applicable GST for a 3-year term.
Okay, so I believe I have a mover, I have a seconder. Any other questions, Councillor Strang?
I think I brought up when we were having our discussion that, how about that we did discuss previously, how about in residential areas? I don't know what we're gonna get for rain this year, but there's times that I had pictures sent to me that the weeds were up to the top of the stop, or halfway up to the stop signs. So that's the only thing that we're only getting that many cuts. There's Public Works gonna, if it's necessary. I know a lot of residents go and will cut out
Yeah.
in front too of their places, but I don't know, like say East Selkirk here in the village and then like down south where there's more residents.
On our road, I think it only gets cut once, maybe twice. But if you're talking like in areas like stop signs and things like that, I don't know how close these guys can get to the stop signs and that, so it might be a matter of somebody going out there with a weed whacker, so.
Our Public Works staff are monitoring, and then fixing some of the areas,
Okay.
as well as this contract allows for full mowing, and on top of that, it's the per hour cost when we need to do some of that
If we
spot
have to, we
work
can call
wherever
over.
it's necessary.
Okay.
And that's a decision the Public Works Manager makes based on the issues.
Counselor Spicer?
Yeah, because I think with highways, they're only doing once a year now.
Yeah.
And most municipalities that I know of anyway, do the 2 cuts. But if there's small patches, then that's a different story.
Well, and I think Highways doesn't do theirs now till closer to the fall season, so.
Highways does 2 a year, around 59.
Yeah, they don't on Henderson.
Yeah, on 59 they do one, and then in the fall, they'll do one and they might do the whole ditch. And
Yeah. Okay, so I believe we have the resolution read, and I had a mover and a seconder. If there are no other questions, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next one we have is the Ludwig Road tender, and that is on a DFA claim. So I will let Deepak address that if there is anything.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is the contract for dealing with the damages related with Ludwig Road, and it's a complete tender for $915,000 as being the lowest bidder. It's come in considerably, excuse me, lower than anticipated, so it gives us some flexibility. In this contract is also included the work related with the bridge, which is also come in considerably lower, at possibly half the price of what we had estimated it to be for budget purposes. And as part of our work that we had left over from last year related with the drainage and the flood control works project, we had some hydro seeding, which will also be part of this project. And what we have in here is the low end at $118,000. We anticipate after some work, we may be able to even reduce that lower than what it was. All of these are all well below budget and came in at a very reasonable amount. I think the advantage has been that we were able to get out to the tenders very early this year, and that allowed for some very competitive bidding.
Okay, any questions? You could, oh, did you have questions?
I was gonna wait until after that.
Okay,
Just to make a comment.
okay, can we have the resolution, please?
Be it resolved that council accept the recommendation of the Public Works Manager authorizing the CAO to enter into an agreement with Chabot Enterprises to complete the Ludwig remediation tender for the estimated price of $915,219 plus applicable GST.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Bazarowitz seconds, discussion. Go ahead, Councillor Strange.
I have a question, or is there gonna be somebody from Public Works just to see the quality of the material coming in?
Yes, they'll be monitoring the work.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So the materials coming from Chile?
I understand that most of the materials are in fact coming from the lake from Chabot Enterprises.
Okay, any other questions or thoughts? Hearing and seeing none, I have a mover, I have a seconder, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next one, the zebra mussel one, is one that I actually received from the mayor of Victoria Beach, and they're looking for support for the province to give some more money, or give money to the municipalities for their zebra mussel invasion in certain areas, so. Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Just wondering, what, do they want us to try and clean up the beaches, money for that? Because there's, to my knowledge, there's nothing that can be done to get rid of the zebra mussels. I mean, I don't mind supporting them, I'm just wondering what they think the government's, I don't know. There's
Well,
nothing
I
can be
think-
done, they're here to stay.
That's right, but I think the last time I talked to anybody, there was only one gal that was working in that department on the zebra mussel program. And there was not a whole lot of funding, and I think what they're looking for is trying to get the government to
Take it
have some more
seriously.
money, to look at it very seriously and have some money to see if, I know that they can't probably do anything to get rid of them, but is there money out there that can help some of these municipalities, like if their water intakes are all plugged and everything, like to do
Okay.
some work to try and,
In that regard, I get it.
that's right, yeah, so.
Okay.
Someone else had their hand up, Sandra.
I was just gonna ask, are they still doing the program that they're washing the boats off when they come out of the
Yeah.
water?
Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
carrying on with that? Okay.
Yeah, and I believe Bell Lake has still have the program for this year, like they were instrumental in having a local improvement district where they pay for their own, they pay to have somebody there washing the boats at Bell Lake.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and that program actually started off very well.
I wonder if it'll continue.
Well, I think the gentleman that looks after it is going to continue on with it from what I hear, but I don't imagine that the Gull Lake Basin Management Board has had a meeting for quite some time.
Funds that,
Not for
Their taxes.
over a year.
yeah.
Their taxes do, yes. It all comes to
Oh,
the
yeah, they're on the-
municipality,
yeah.
yeah, but they have a local improvement district, they pay so much per year on their taxes to have
That's right, I remember.
that program in place. So, Councillor Spicer, did you have your hand up also?
No, I'm good.
Okay. If no one else has any questions, I'll ask our CAO to please read the resolution for this one.
Whereas zebra mussels are not only having a very significant and negative impact on the condition of Lake Winnipeg, but are also serious impediment to the recreational users' enjoyment and detrimental to all other stakeholders. And whereas zebra mussels continue to accumulate extensively on shorelines and beaches along Lake Winnipeg, and whereas there does not appear to be a federal or provincial plan in place to mitigate the reproduction of zebra mussels and the deleterious effect they have on Lake Winnipeg, therefore be it resolved that the Arm of St. Clements Council urge the Association of Manitoba Municipalities to lobby the two levels of senior government to implement a plan of action to proactively deal with zebra mussels infestation in Lake Winnipeg.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horvath, second Councillor Strang. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next we have is from Statistics Canada, and that was another email that I got where they asked that we pass a resolution supporting the census taking, so I believe that's what is on our agenda. So Deepak, if you could, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to further reiterate, the timing was of essence on this, so we did start communicating some of this information on our website and Facebook in advance of the resolution that's come forward today. The resolution is, be it resolved, Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements supports the 2021 census, encourages all residents to complete their census questionnaire online with www.census.gc.ca. Accurate and complete census data support programs and services that benefit our community.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Boulanger seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, that is carried.
So what happens if you don't do nothing?
I don't know if they can, I don't know if they can come after you.
Yes, there's a fine, I think it's up to $500.
You're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're inaccurate as well, like if you report in the census wrong information, that can
So
also.
anybody can just go online and do it?
No, you are given a specific code number?
You should have had something delivered. Ours was delivered last week, and ours was actually dropped off on our doorstep.
$7.
Yeah, I never got one.
Not
Mine was
in
mailed.
Yeah,
Mine is in mail.
mine was maybe in there.
Yeah, ours were dropped off, so. But anyways, yeah, and I had some difficulty and they couldn't find me, but they had when I went online to do it, they don't have all of East Selkirk in there. It's listed as St. Clements, Manitoba.
Mine was St. Clements. I
Was it?
changed it, yeah.
Yeah, I changed mine too, but it was, I mean, it was like, to me, it appeared that East Selkirk didn't even exist.
Yeah.
It's like a lake.
I guess. Anyways,
Mine had Goner on
yours had Goner?
it.
Narrow.
Yeah. So anyways, the next one we have is another one regarding census.
Suicide prevention.
Oh, suicide prevention, okay, so if you could speak to that one, please, Deepak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We received an email from James Bazan from our riding, who's requesting that we pass a motion in support of a motion that was put forward by Conservative MP Todd Doherty regarding which received unanimous consent to bring a 3-digit suicide prevention hotline into Canada. The hotline number would be 988, and they've asked us as an RM to support that through a motion of council.
Okay, any questions? If not, I will ask our CAO to please read the resolution.
Whereas the federal government has passed a motion to adopt 988, a national 3-digit suicide and crisis hotline, and whereas the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has increased the demand for suicide prevention services by 200%, and whereas existing suicide prevention hotlines require the user to remember a 10-digit number and go through directories or be placed on hold, and whereas in 2022 the United States will have in place a national 988 crisis hotline, and whereas the Arm of St. Clements recognizes that it is a significant and important initiative to ensure critical barriers are removed in those in crisis and seeking help, and therefore be it resolved that the Arm of St. Clements Council endorses this 988 crisis line initiative, and the staff be directed to send a letter indicating such support to the local MP, MPP, Federal Ministry of Health, at the CRTC and the local area municipalities to indicate our support.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Strang, seconds, discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so that brings us down to number 9 on our agendas, the accounts and the financial statement. If I could have the resolution for the accounts, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolved, Council approve May 11th, 2021 list of accounts, check numbers 21000-807 to 21000-892 in the amount of $157,442.99 for payment.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Bazarowicz, seconds. Any discussions or questions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And let me see here. The financial plan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you know, last week we had our financial plan hearing, which was completed, and the amended financial plan was submitted to council for approval. And so what we're bringing forward today is the resolution to approve the financial plan for 2021.
Okay, is there anything different on these sheets than we got at our financial plan hearing?
No, there isn't.
Okay. All right, so if you could read the resolution, please.
Whereas Section 162(1)A to D of the Municipal Act requires every council to make a financial plan for each fiscal year in a form approved by the minister, consisting of an operating budget, a capital budget, an estimate of operating revenues and expenditures for the following fiscal year, and a 5-year capital expenditure program, 2021 to 2026, and to adopt said financial plan by resolution. And whereas council has made such a financial plan, and whereas Section 162(2) of the Municipal Act requires a public hearing to be held before adoption of the financial plan, and said hearing was held on May 4th, 2021. Therefore, be it resolved, the financial plan for the rural municipality of St. Clements for the year 2021, as set out in the manner and form approved and administered, being the same form part of the 2021 tax levy bylaw number 10 of 2021 be accepted.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Bazarowicz, Counselor Sutherland seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so that takes us to our bylaws. Oops. The first one is our tax levy bylaw, bylaw 10 of 2021. And it is for second and third reading, and again, I'll just remind everybody that for third reading, we need to keep our hands up because it is an automatic recorded vote. So can I have the resolution for second reading, please? Unless you have something you want to share with us on it.
Nothing more, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Resolved bylaw 10 of 2021 being a bylaw to provide for the 2021 annual tax levy be given second reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Spicer, Counselor Horbus seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And the resolution for third reading, please.
Resolved bylaw 10 of 2021 being a bylaw to provide for the 2021 annual tax levy be read a third time.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Boulanger, second. Counselor Bazarowicz, discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next one is bylaw number 11 of 2021, and that is the Water Control Works borrowing, amending bylaw for first reading. And if you could explain that, please, Deepak.
Yes, Madam Mayor, as part of the financial plan and as a part of the work and the information that's been communicated to all residents as part of our year-end report, as well as our financial plan outline, as well as our financial plan, Council had reduced the borrowing requirements and utilized, repurposed that borrowing for the Henderson sewer line and the water treatment plant upgrades. In order to do that, in order to be consistent with our financial plan, we felt that although the borrowing approval was at a higher level, approved by the municipal board, that it was appropriate to amend those bylaws to the appropriate borrowing as is the intention of council. So this bylaw reduces the borrowing for bylaw 11, which was for the water control works, which included the Guns Creek, and it's reducing it down to 1.5. I can give you the exact amount in a second. It's reducing that down to $1,525,000 from the original borrowing capacity, which was approved at $3,520,000.
Okay, any questions? Now, are these amounts being reduced because of some grant monies we received, or why are we reducing those amounts?
We are reducing these amounts mainly related with the grants that we received related with the Guns Creek diversion, and also with some cash to capital that was performed in the previous years, which reduced the amount that was necessarily needed in order to move forward. The Guns Creek diversion work was split up into some work related directly with the Water Control Works borrowing, which was related with drainage, and Guns Creek was identified in that project. The other is related to the South St. Clements Activity Center, and that related to the site works, which are also part of the project related to the Guns Creek grant that we received.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I will ask for the resolution then.
Resolved bylaw 11 of 2021 being a bylaw to amend its bylaw 8 of 2018 to provide for the expenditure and borrowing of funds to complete construction and improvement of water control works, including Bunds Creek, Floodway Drive, Ashfield, and Grand Marais drainage areas to be given first reading.
Can I have a mover, Counselor Spicer, second, Counselor Strang, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question, all those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, next item on our agenda is bylaw number 12 of 2021, and that is again for first reading, and it's for the Community Recreation Facility in South St. Clements, and it's an amended bylaw, so basically, can you just walk us through that one too, please, Deepak?
Again, Madam Mayor, again, that was related with the communication that's already been communicated to all our residents through our year-end report, through the two borrowing bylaws that we did this year, as well as the financial plan outline, as well as a financial plan, which identified repurposing of the borrowing authority that was used in order to do the other borrowing projects of the Henderson Sewer Project and the water control works. The original borrowing was for $4,350,000. That included site works and the construction of the building for the South St. Clements Activity Center. The site works are being completed this year, and they, including the retention pond that's on site, and that work was completed as part of the Bunds Creek diversion grant that we received from the province of Manitoba, which allowed us to reduce the funding or the borrowing capacity. We are still awaiting for ISET funding related to the construction of the building, and so with the estimated cost of the building, we've reduced the borrowing to that amount.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions?
Comment.
Go ahead.
As much as we send out our newsletters, we advertise, we're in the paper, and everything else, I still get calls, people say, what's going on over there?
Well, I guess if you get any of those kind of calls, you can always direct them to the office here, and they'll be able to answer their questions, so.
Ask them to hook up to connect.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you should be telling them, is to hook up to Connect, and
I
then they
just
would.
know, that's where the rec center's going, it's,
Yeah, but you see, people that, I guess in my mind, I have to kind of agree with what Scott says, when people are asking those kind of questions, like it makes me wonder if they are on Connect and if they get our newsletters, because if they got more information from the municipality directly, like not in the paper.
they just don't read anything.
Well, I mean, if it comes to your phone or your iPad, you might, get some of them to read it, but if they're not on Connect, no, they're not gonna get it, so.
As well, this year, we're hoping to have, if health restrictions are lifted, to have some sort of an event at the South St. Clements Recreation or Activity Center, which will give us an opportunity to further explain the work that's been done there and what's coming in the near future.
Yeah, so. Okay, if you want to read the resolution for this one, please.
Resolved bylaw 12 of 2021 being a bylaw to amend its bylaw 6 of 2018 of the RM St. Clements to provide for the expenditure and borrowing of funds to establish a municipal community recreation facility in South St. Clements be given first reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second. Councillor Bazarowicz, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so that takes us to communications for information, and I'm not sure if there's anything. There's one from AMM, it's for resolutions for the June district meeting, which there aren't going to be any resolutions at the June district meeting. They're holding them over to the fall. Did you have any that you wanted to touch on, Deepak? Because I could just keep going here.
Nothing specifically. I think the only information is that there's some additional information related with the Red River Planning District from the Executive Director's reports and some statistics that have been provided for your information. My goal is in the next while is to provide more of these types of subdivision statistics so that council can have an update on a regular basis of where we sit with many of these construction or development projects that get approved.
Yeah, and I had asked DPAC to put the Winnipeg Metro Region 11.4.2, the March 2021 report. It's just kind of to let everybody know what has been happening in the Metro Region. It's just, you know, some people are saying that there's nothing being done, it's moving too slow, it's moving too fast, and I thought if we gave those reports on a monthly basis, I know, like, I mean, this is only March and here we are already in May, but I'm gonna try and get them a little bit better on track. So hopefully we'll be able to see the April one as soon as our meetings aren't till the fourth Tuesday, or the fourth Friday of the month, so that makes it a little bit difficult, so. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Just a quick follow-up question. So have we provided any letters of concern regarding Plan 2050 to them yet, or?
Not yet, that will be coming forward for council's review.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the other one that I asked would be put on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report from the Red River Planning District for February and March. And I asked that those be put on there so that everybody can see what everybody's up to at the planning district. They're very, very busy, and yes, sometimes it does take a little bit longer to maybe get an inspection, but some of the permits are being turned around in record time with all the development that is going on. I just thought it would be a good idea for council to be able to see what's happening at the planning board. So, go ahead, Councillor Strang.
One other paper that we get at the planning board that I thought was very beneficial for everybody was the one from Prairie Bylaw, that they go around to do inspections, or that they're called to different residents. It's something good for us too, that I notice a lot of people are not posting, like, you know, when they get their permits. So that you have other residents calling and you don't know whether they did get a permit or not, but they have it, it's open to us, and I think it's something good to, I think I mentioned that last time.
Well, and I think if it's on our...
We know the creator of it.
Well, and I think if it's on our RRPD meeting agenda, once we've dealt with it, I believe though that we deal with that in camera, do we not?
Probably, it's bylaw.
Yeah, it's bylaw enforcement, so, I mean, but we could just put in on maybe our committee reports how many bylaw infractions that they looked after for that particular one.
I just thought, well, you know, or even if we had it for us in camera too, because it is something that, say, we don't have to be bothering somebody else in the office. It's something that, it's great information, I think, for all of council to see.
We could look at it as an in-camera item.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Mr. CAO.
I have been in discussions with the executive director and with their online permitting system. That should allow people to be able to not only question if there was a permit issue, but they'll be able to search it up themselves directly online. As well, the executive director has requested to work with us as part of their pilot program to see how to utilize that system and put in some of the business rules into the new automated system that's going to be all online. We'll be working with them for our lot grading applications and the process.
Thank you.
For our committee of the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so we're down to the committee reports, but Councillor Horvis just reminded me about picking a date for a committee of the whole meeting. So June 1, we kind of said was out. Next Tuesday doesn't give our CAO and the staff enough time to prepare. So then I threw out there for the fourth Tuesday in May. I'm not sure if 9:30, and if we're here till late in the evening, I'm not sure if that is good with council. So is there any other day that we might be able to have our committee of the whole?
How much time do you need for that?
He doesn't know because he doesn't know what's on the agenda
Oh,
yet.
I will take whatever amount of time council can spare because I think we have several items that we could definitely discuss at the committee of whole.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I know we try and stick to Tuesdays, but, just wondering if maybe Thursday, the 20th or 27th?
27th is a short week already.
Yeah, it's already shortly.
Thursday,
Just a thought.
So the first week in June, the first is that, and the second and the third is the,
FCN.
okay, so then, fourth, fifth, sixth,
We're not coming on the weekend, I don't think.
no, I'm just saying fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, what's that? A
Seventh,
Monday
Monday is the
So then
June
the
district
Tuesday?
meeting.
is our meeting?
Well, the 7th is the June district
Yeah.
meeting, which is for all members of council. Of course, it's going to be virtual, and then on the 8th is our regular council meeting.
How about May 17th to 24th, a Monday? I mean, if we can't find a Tuesday.
Monday's
Oh, yeah.
Victoria Day.
It's a long week.
So close.
No, Victoria Day's not till the 24th. But the 17th, I have 3 meetings.
What about the 20th? Is that enough time, Deepak?
I'll make it work if that's what council wishes.
It's usually 6 work days.
You're too accommodating there.
Take a vacation day.
Well, we do have a meeting that evening, we
Yeah.
have INRA, so.
I'll still have to go in, but
I have to retire somewhere.
I'm there.
So, do we want to try for the 20th then, which is a Thursday? Or what does the 19th look like?
Wednesday.
Yeah, I know, but we have, a couple of us have Red River planning at 4:30 that particular day. So I don't know if that's a better day, like,
Well, you'd be pretty wiped if you were here all day and then you were that.
well, I don't know, if we started at 9:30, depending on how much stuff
Talk we
was on the agenda, I would say maybe we should just meet from, say, 9:30 till 2:30, and then those of us that are in planning would have a bit of a break before our planning meeting.
Right, Monday?
I'm good.
That give you enough time?
Would you prefer the 20th, Deepak?
I would prefer the 20th.
Okay.
23rd.
No, he can't do the 23rd, he's busy that day. Okay,
No,
so,
I'm usually done by 9:30.
oh. Okay, so let's say on the 20th, we start at 9:30, and hopefully we can be out of here by 2:30 or 3.
Is there anything specific that council would like me to also bring forward at that time?
I just remembered in previous conversation, you were going to do economic
Certainly, we can have
Update.
economic development. bring
or
it
a
up.
rec update.
Sure, we can look at both of those. See
Were
what we
we,
can
I
bring.
don't know, what else?
were we able to get that letter done up?
You
to,
said,
Whoa, one at a time here. Go ahead, Rob, and then Glenn.
Just, were we able to get that letter done up on letterhead planning to move to the region on agriculture's issues?
We'll bring that forward at the same time.
Okay. The one that I handed in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Glenn.
the sewer project, the tender's not prepared yet.
Sewer project, the tender's not prepared yet. The design is just completing right now.
Okay.
The tender is prepared for the water treatment plant, which should be going on shortly for the equipment and the upgrades to the water treatment plant. And then we have to get building permits for the water treatment plant for Red River planning. The sewer, the only thing now is that based on some preliminary discussions with Manitoba Water Services Board, we're hoping to put in the water line design as part of that, and then it'll go out to tender. The intent is to be tendering this summer and be complete by the end of this year, before the end.
So, okay, I was just wondering if there was anything that we can update on this.
We can certainly bring an update on our construction projects as a total, that's a,
Go ahead, Rob.
I had brought this up anecdotally, probably a year or more ago, and I'm just wondering if council still has an appetite. I was wanting to know if our administration could write a letter to the city of Selkirk and ask if they'd be willing to sit on a group
Oh, right.
comprised of 2 there, 2 here, 3 there, 3 here. We need to address the concern of the Selkirk Bridge. It is a bridge that literally is falling apart. I know Highways does inspections on there quite regularly. The reason I'm asking this is if everybody thinks that the bridge just affects Selkirk, and it's a Selkirk, I'm putting in quotations, a Selkirk bridge, that bridge, if you go through there at any time of the day, particularly in the morning, the traffic is lined up from the steam plant all the way to the bridge in the morning. That's how much traffic commutes across that bridge from St. Clements, from our municipality, daily, 365 days of the year. When that bridge goes out, when the flood comes over the lowland, our community is shut down. Our community is detached from Selkirk. Our school buses have to go around, our emergency services have to go around. St. Clements again is affected deeply. So I just want to make sure that we as a council recognize that we too have to push the envelope on that bridge. And I think it's a great way for us to stay in communication with Selkirk on a mutual concern, which is the bridge. So it allows us to meet, to have dialogue, and eventually that group would probably go to the province on it, to the premier on it, to say, when is our community going to have a new bridge? That bridge was built for cart traffic in 1923, I think.
Yeah.
So I just want to know if a letter can be written on behalf of council to the city of Selkirk that would you be willing to sit and have dialogue on?
Well, we did have a letter a while back, and Councillor Sutherland, I know, has had some discussion with one of our residents regarding that, because he did send a letter kind of requesting that he would be willing to sit on a committee. And I'm not sure if the ball got, not dropped, but there's just, too many things going on and perhaps hasn't been pursued. But perhaps we can get a hold of the city of Selkirk if we haven't done that already, or if we have and you haven't had any uptake from them, maybe we can send them a reminder.
certainly, I think the situation occurred, there was some information that we were awaiting because the province had given some indication at that time that they were going to look at doing something on the Blue Bridge, and we hadn't heard anything back.
I think it's just important that a committee gets together because it shows to the province and to the premier that we have communities that are concerned and that the municipal voices are the ones who are going to pursue it. That we don't wait for the government to tell us when they're going to do it, that we're saying we need
Right.
something done.
Well, I know, and I have to agree with what you're saying about the traffic going into Selkirk. I didn't know that it was quite that far, but I know the other day I was going to Selkirk around the 3:30 mark. And yes, the traffic was past the bridge. I was kind of down almost where you go down to the river on the north side there. And I mean, on the bridge, and you can actually feel the darn thing shake when some of the vehicles are going by. Oh yes, you can when you're sitting there in a line of traffic to get across Eveline. And I know that just when they were cutting the ice and doing that part of it, they did have some inspectors out there because there were some problems. Whether they were able to get those fixed while the ice was still there or not, I never did hear the end result, so. Glenn?
Yeah, we talked about strength in numbers, especially when we're going to higher levels of government. Maybe you want to expand that into, like I know people that work at the mill that live in Springfield, live in Tyndall, Garson, Broken Head, Bossier, they come all that way, and that's traffic on the street too, every day.
Yeah, well, I think to start with, I think if we could just get together, I mentioned Mr. Dolinick, who had gotten a hold of you, and, a couple of our members of council, a couple of City of Selkirk, if we can see if we could get that going. But Deepak says that we're awaiting some information, so maybe we can pick up the ball and see where we can go with that.
I know
Because it is very important.
It is.
And I know that one meeting that I sat in on, and I haven't sat in on very many of them, with the Lockport business owners and the Lockport Bridge with the federal government, there was a fear that both of these bridges were going to be closed at the same time, and that definitely cannot happen.
But we're not gonna be, they're not gonna move that quick on Selkirk, so.
No, so we'll see, but I also was told a while back that any repairs to this Selkirk Bridge would be done. It's not that they're gonna let it deteriorate to such a point where it is not usable anymore.
But what we're saying is, you can repair it all you want, a 100-year-old structure.
Right,
But when are you gonna give us a wider, more modern, more efficient bridge?
yeah.
right? The other thing is, real quickly, when I was talking to Wayne on it a year and a half ago, we had said, wouldn't it be cool if they leave the current old bridge where it is and use it as a historic bridge? Because it's historic, that bridge, the drawbridge.
Yes,
And use it as foot traffic and have little shops along there, have it cobblestone and just have ice cream shops and have it seasonal and build the bridge to the right or to the left where it is.
yeah, that would be up to the province to
Yeah.
figure that out, so. Anything else on that before we
Can't
go?
mark road because there's gonna be trails in there.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm gonna start on the committee reports if nobody else has anything, and today I'm gonna start with Councillor Spicer.
Oh, I got a long one.
Oh, no, that's why I started with you, Councillor.
April 27th, budget meeting, finalizing the 2021 budget. May the 4th, financial plan, public hearing. Thank you.
Councillor Batsarowicz.
I'll just do a retake on what Scott just said.
Okay, Councillor Horvis.
Yeah, that's all I have to.
Councillor Sutherland.
Not a little bit, not very much. April 27th, the budget. April 29th was a MARG AGM. I'm still a member because they have to vote every 2 years. So,
And you didn't take on an executive position?
no, but they have to vote. There's other people applying for it and, you know. Anyway, I'm still a member.
That's good.
All the tours naturally were canceled, as we brought up at our meeting, and the 5 webinars were very successful. And we got that $60,000 operating grant from the government, which kind of helped things because they helped things along. This year, it's a series of webinars will be starting in October, if we can't have a forum, and we pretty well know that's not going to happen. So it'll be the same as last time with these series of webinars.
And they were good, they were interesting.
Yeah, I think Mike does a pretty good job, and I brought up with our hazardous goods that we start on June 1st.
Oh, yes, okay.
I mentioned to Mike before, because they want to do tours, and he's all gone home for it. When we can do a tour, or even a virtual tour, and of our landfill, because a lot of work has been done to the landfill. And now it's a hazardous goods depot. So I gotta talk about that with Greg and see if he's on board with, but Mike wants to definitely do something with our Class 1 landfill.
That's a good idea, virtual tour.
Yeah. So I brought that up and he said, great, tell me when.
Okay, good.
And talked about that woody waste project. From what Mike was telling us, there's a lot of commitment from other municipalities on that. And a lot of the challenges are what to do with the woody, with the product when you're, it's not that it's not going to happen, but it seems that there's not a lot of people on board with that.
Yeah, there's only like, what is there, 6, I think, that are interested in the pilot project.
Yeah,
And everybody else kind of waiting to see how it goes.
because I had brought it up with us and where we were at with it, and that's our financial status is looking pretty good for Mark. Like I said, we were lucky we got that $60,000 operating grant last year. I don't know if it's going to happen again this year or not. May the 4th, financial plan hearing. May the 6th, Selkirk Wheat Board meeting. Kristen tried to manage to get a new contract with East St. Paul for spraying because we've lost quite a few of our contracts with highways and with hydro here, so. And as far as securing anything with highways, it's some spot spraying with highways when they call them. So even that's going to be lessened. So as a result of that, the 3 employees that we have, they're agreed like they're going to just work in a 30-hour work week. So we do have the 3 employees. There was a 2% pay increase. One of them was making $23.50, another employee's $25.75, and the last one was $19. And then we have our secretary, treasurer, Sharon, and Kristen. That's the only staff at the soccer Wheaton right now. But then we purchased this. We purchased a new Schulte Moore for this year. And that's it.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
April 27th, budget council meeting that day also. May 4th, financial plan hearing. And May 10th, RRPD Executive Director for Performance Evaluation. I did it with our mayor. And that's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Boulanger.
The 27th, our regular planning meeting and budget, and the financial plan hearing. That's it.
Okay. Okay, I had the 27th, of course, the council meeting in the evening. April 29th, I had and this was through the municipality, a Health Act amendment presentation, and that was an invitation from the Deputy Minister of Health to update on Bill 10. And that is the Regional Health Authority Amendment Act. They want all organizations working together, including the 5 regional health authorities, Cancer Care, Shared Health. Right now, Shared Health delivers all health services according to the Act. And I guess there was a report done back in 2018 by KPMG, and some of these recommendations are coming out of the report. I don't have a lot of information, and I haven't really delved into it that much, so. April the 30th, we had a Winnipeg Metro Region Board. It was a regular board meeting. Presentations were made regarding the natural assets inventory. All natural assets do have value, and each municipality will have an opportunity to work with consultants to complete the inventory. And that webinar is scheduled for next week. And Deepak, is anybody going to be representing the municipality on that one that you know of right now?
Not that I know of.
Okay, well, maybe we can have a look at that after the meeting here today. WMR is working on a risk and resiliency project, as our neighbors to the south are high risk for climate change, and this was something, during the meeting there was a presentation by Dr. Venema, who is looking after all those sorts of things, and there's a lot of changes going to be happening with climate change, and just our seasons and everything else come into place. So it was pretty interesting. And I got a note here, remember comments for Plan 2050 are to be submitted by June 1st. And another one of the things that came up is some of the demographics in the Plan 2050 seem to be out of kilter a little bit. And one of the consultants is working with WMR to see if they can't get the proper information, because it just seems that some of the demographics in some areas are way off. Like, I think it says that Selkirk is losing people and we're hardly getting any people, and yet that's not what we've been told all along. So, yeah, so they're going to be looking at that. On May the 4th, the financial plan, the 5th of May, I had a South Basin Mayors and Reeves meeting, and this was to discuss what we're going to do with the Green Team approval. We did get some approval. Unfortunately, in order to utilize the Green Team and the grant received, we need some matching dollars. So what we're going to look at is perhaps working with another group so that we can use our money, get money from the other group so that we can get some of the projects done. A couple of options were presented, and that it ended up that the executive director will approach the entities to see if we can work together. And then we're going to have to revisit our existence in the fall for the South Basin Mayors and Reeves. If we don't find somebody to team up with, then we don't have a lot of funds because our fees are very low, and we may just want to move the lake friendly and everything over to one of the other entities if we can work it out that way, so. I'll keep you posted on that one. And also on the 5th of May, I had a North Red water maintenance meeting. We did receive a letter from the province regarding the monies that they feel that we owe them for some of the stuff that has been done. We also had some correspondence from our lawyer who is working with us to try and resolve all our issues with the province so that we could do the wind down of the corporation. We also did receive a letter from the landlord regarding the damages to the building when we moved out. So it wasn't a whole lot of money, so we agreed that because it was a little different situation, it was a month-to-month lease, there was never an agreement or anything like that put in place. He was always very good to us, and we agreed to share the cost with him. So we are out of there. We'll be winding down, but with all these glitches that we run into now, we were supposed to be finished like at the end of March, and now it doesn't look like we'll be finished till the end of June, so. And then on May the 5th, the CAO and I had a conference call with our MLA, and that was as a result of the Gull Lake people I guess approaching him to find out what was going on, so the MLA just asked for a conference call, so Deepak and I had a good conversation, which was, I thought was very good with the MLA, and he said if we need anything, just to let him know and let him know how things are progressing, so. And May the 6th, the State of the Region address, there were 5 municipalities that participated, and we were given a series of questions that had been sent out beforehand. Everybody's answers varied. Personally, I didn't like the format, like it was just 5 questions and you answered the questions, and you didn't even, the one question that I had the best answer for, they didn't even ask me. So it was kind of a hit and miss that way, so I was a little bit disappointed. And I found too that they didn't give us a lot of time to prepare our answers for that one. It kind of seemed that they kind of did it very quickly. It was all videoed, and those videos will be available probably closer to the end of this week. So, and that's all I have. Mr. CAO, what do you have to share with us today?
I had meetings on April the 26th with some potential developers looking at some opportunities in East Selkirk. On the 27th, we had the council meeting, as already mentioned, and on the 28th, I received a solid waste management update on the overall project and what's happening, as well as meetings with Scotland Miller Murray on Gull Lake. On April the 29th, I had a discussion to take a look at our workforce management solution and seeing if there's some opportunities to change some systems and procedures in our organization. I had, on April the 30th, had a meeting on the Guns Creek Diversion Project to see if we were still within budget and moving forward, as well as had a meeting with our auditor to put forward our audit process to begin and complete as soon as possible. On the 4th, of course, was our public hearing for the financial plan, as well as discussions with Scotland Miller Murray on the Gull Lake Quarry, and then a conference call with the MLA, as the mayor has already laid out, on the 5th, as well as a meeting with our planning RPD on St. Clements for planning purposes. And on the 6th, I had a call with a representative from our audit, the same company, who I'm asking to do a review of some of our systems and procedures. So the auditor can't do the review of our systems, as he is our auditor. So another member of the team, and the named person is Mike Stevens, who I had the discussions with, and they They've done reviews for East St. Paul, City of Winnipeg, and other places on similar HR, payroll, those types of systems that we can refine our procedures and processes as we move forward. I had the meeting yesterday with the Gull Lake stakeholders groups, and that's needless to today's council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Any questions for our CAO? Ms. Heather, do you have anything that you would like to share with us today?
Not today, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for that. Is there anything else that anyone would like to discuss before we adjourn the meeting? Because we did do all our in-camera items that we had before lunch and kind of through lunch. So is there anything else that anybody would like to discuss? I'm not seeing any hands going up. Mr. CAO, is there anything that you would like to share with us?
No.
A short, just a short blurb. Okay, having said that, I will ask then for the resolution to adjourn our meeting today.
Resolved, this meeting of council be adjourned on May the 5th, May the 11th at 2:54 p.m.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, second Councillor Strang. All in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Thank you all very much, and I'll ask Heather to please stop the recording.